You walk into a bar or a pub and feel like a glass of white wine. You look at the wine list and you think, well, anything but Chardonnay. But what does Chardonnay even taste like? It's probably the most widely grown white grape variety around the world, and arguably the most versatile of all. Let's look today into some winemaking techniques that the winemakers use to play with the flavors of Chardonnay, oak aging, and malolactic fermentation. Most wines are first made in stainless steel tanks, with some exceptions of course. That environment is easy to clean and it's easy to control exactly what goes into the wine as well as under what conditions it's fermenting. Some wines then go for further aging in oak barrels. Oak imparts flavor. In particular, new barrels have a lot of aroma compounds that can leak into the wine during the aging process. Generally, the barrels made from American oak give that sweet and warming feelings of cinnamon and coconut and vanilla, while the French barrels provide the more savory and spicy aromas of cardamom, nutmeg, cedarwood, etc. Also, depending on how long the barrels have been toasted for inside with real fire, they can provide more of that roasted and smoky smells. Barrels are also inherently more porous than stainless steel or concrete tanks, so they expose the wine inside to oxygen in the air outside. Especially for more neutral second and third fill barrels, that leads to mellowing of the flavors, so the wines become less fruity and also the tannins become softer. Another flavor commonly associated with oak aging is a very strong butter smell. This is in fact not linked to the oak itself, but to a process called malolactic fermentation, which is common for almost all red wines and some white wines. During malolactic fermentation, the lactic acid bacteria convert the tart and green apple smelling malic acid into the softer and more creamy lactic acid. Think about biting into a zesty, acidic green apple rather than eating that soft and mellow natural yogurt. A byproduct of this process is diacetyl, which is a molecule very strongly smelling of buttery popcorn. In fact, malolactic fermentation can be done in almost any container, so there are a lot of stainless steel fermented wines that have undergone that process and also smell buttery. The first wine is an unoaked, fresh 2019 white Burgundy from Montagny-Premier-Cru, made by a cooperative called Cave de Vigneron de Bouxy. They were established in 1931. And now they are the largest producer in Côte Chalonnaise, accounting for more or less 2/3 of the production in Montagny. The wine was fermented and matured in stainless steel. It has this very strong and zesty citrus, apple, some flower and maybe stone fruit aromas to it. On the palate, it's quite light-bodied with refreshing zesty acidity, a lot of citrus, a little bit of apples, a little bit of peaches. I mean, if it has undergone some malolactic fermentation, it for sure has retained quite a lot of the malic acid zesty character to it. Next wine is a 2018 white Burgundy made by Maison Louis Latour in Lugny in the south of Mâcon. The wine has been fermented and aged in stainless steel, but has undergone complete malolactic fermentation, so all of the malic acid was converted into lactic acid. On the nose, we have much more stone fruit, like peaches, with a little bit of those citrusy, flowery aromas, but it's all mostly peaches covered in honey and that typical diacetyl buttery note. On the palate, it still has quite a bit of peaches and stone fruit, but it has much softer and more oily mouthfeel to it than the previous wine, so it carries that creaminess with it. The last wine is a 2019 Chardonnay made by the Gibb family in southern coastal parts of Stellenbosch in South Africa, and it has been aged in oak barrels, second fill French oak as well as wooden staves for around 6 months. Straight on the nose, you can get a lot of spicy toasted vanilla with butterscotch and creaminess, covering reasonably ripe fruit, peaches, mangoes, maybe even some pineapple. On the palate, it is for me still dominated by the smoky, toasty flavors, a little bit of spices, quite a bit of vanilla, and that all melting together with riper fruit like peaches and mangoes, maybe a little bit of pineapple. So I think this dessert with like a slice of pineapple set on fire covered with butterscotch, that's this sort of wine. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope that even if you are not a fan of Chardonnay, the versatility of the grape to reflect the winemaking techniques makes you so intrigued that you want to go try and find the one you enjoy. As always, don't forget to give me thumbs up, click subscribe, and put your favorite Chardonnay styles in the comment box below. Let me know what to uncork or unscrew in the next episode. Cheers!